Hello everyone, it's Darth Paradigm. Now I'm going to review the DarkSteel Transition version 1.1. Now, this is a stunt saber that I recently purchased from Detroit Custom Sabers, and it's a hardware saber, and it's 11 and a half inches long. Just a stunt saber, no sound. Has a red LED. No, I don't know the wattage, so forgive me for that. And this runs off of three AAA batteries. And what we have here is we have an end cap, i.e. a pommel, and you can remove the screw. This screw holds the pommel securely in place. You take this out. There's a bit of a chassis in here that holds a battery holder that holds three AAAs. And I just recently, well, today, about about a half hour ago, I replaced the batteries, and so they're fresh. And so I have them all secure in here. Now the chassis kind of floats around in here. So what I did was I took some foam and I rolled it up and I inserted it in there, and that kind of holds the chassis in place so it doesn't move around inside the hilt and doesn't act as a distraction. The other thing I did was one of the blades that I had available, and I'm running along blades. Is I had a 36-inch custom saber shop show blade, and tonight I cut that down to 32 inches and reinserted into this hilt as a dedicated blade, and the balance is much better than it was with a 36-inch blade. The balance point is about here, and because the blade is shorter with the fresh batteries, it illuminates very well. Now, red is just one of those LED colors that doesn't traditionally show up quite as well as other colors, but this does a very exceptional job. For a saber that's running off of three AAAs. So there's that. Now, as I said, the saber is 11 and a half inches long, which is perfect for single-handed or two-handed. There's a little bit of you'll see that this section is similar to this section, and then this is sort of kind of a half-size version of that section, and whatever parts generate these. I can't claim to know where all the parts come from, but this is a very solid hilt. It's very comfortable, and it's really turned into one of my favorite stunt sabers. I just spent about a half hour swinging it around. It's a very comfortable hilt, even with all these little ridges and kind of squared off points and whatnot. It's really not an issue at all. When I purchased the saber, there was a bit of a issue, I guess. Jesse, who's the owner of Detroit Custom Sabers, had one of his cousins, or if I'm recalling, forgive me, Jesse, if I'm messing this up, but kind of got into his workshop and was playing around and kind of did a little bit of damage to the emitter on this hilt. So Jesse kindly and rather quickly repainted and got this thing up to pristine condition, and I do appreciate that. And it looks really good. Now, there's a lot of little rivets. They're just sort of accentuations that don't really, they probably secure parts in place, but I like what's the word I'm looking for? It goes copper, silver, and it goes silver, copper, and silver, and I kind of like how it alters. That's not the word. It transitions. They're not all the same color. So there's some creativity there. Now, this is a very tiny blade retention screw. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the reason why it's so tiny is because it kind of digs into the blade. So this blade retention screw goes into the blade. It very much makes a hole in it, which is why this blade is dedicated to this hilt. It's because of that, because it essentially damages the blade, which isn't the most desirable thing in the world, but it does very, very securely hold the blade in place, so I don't mind it. And I don't think that the blade moves around too much into the hilt. It's kind of, you can see it's not the snuggest fit, but I find that it doesn't really move around. My main concern would be that, with a solid strike, in dueling, I'd be concerned that the blade retention screw might snap. But there's a solution. Well, I don't. Oh, I thought that maybe there was another hole here, but it is a hole, but not one that you can probably put a blade retention screw in. But one would think you could probably drill a couple more holes and find blade retention screws of the same size. Maybe put one here and directly opposite. But as it stands, this is fine. I mean, I won't be dueling with this saber, and swinging it around with a 32-inch blade inserted in here hasn't really been causing any issues. It's not moving around in the holder, so there are no issues. These little rivets here are actually function as you'll see in a sec, windows. So that's very nice. I like that touch. All right. So you've got this kind of copper black. I like copper when it's included in the design of a saber. Sorry if I'm doing the shaky camera thing. I'm just kind of doing this video on the fly tonight because I won't get into it, but I'm just my brain power has been at a low ebb lately. I'm using up all my the resources of my brain at work lately. So I haven't had much to give, so I apologize for that. But anyway, so got this little greebly, this little screw, and it doesn't turn and it doesn't do anything. It's just aesthetic. And it's in there quite firmly, but it's very, very nice, and it doesn't impede the ability to use the swing or spin or do anything like that. It's not an issue whatsoever, and I quite like it. It's very, very nice. So you got a nice little choke point here. This is perfectly sized to get your finger nice and in there securely. A little place for your thumb. Well placed. AV switch. You really have to get in there and click it into place so this doesn't come undone. If you're swinging it with the saber off, this will tend to kind of do a bit of that stuff. But when it is on, there are no issues whatsoever. It's just you really have to get your finger in there to turn it off, which is actually a plus. Now the patina of the saber is kind of a silver, but it does fluctuate a bit, kind of a bit of a weathering sort of quality to it, whether intentional or just by the process. It looks good. Looks much better in person. The wrap is very nice. You did a very good job on the wrap. It's called the DarkSteel, so it's a dark side Sith themed hilt. I don't know why I said it like that. That's where my brain is processing right now. But as I said, this is very comfortable here. Plenty of room for your offhand and your main hand here to grip this two-handed. The saber's light enough. You can see, I was telling you about that you can easily wield this single-handed, but you can also wield it double-handed with very little effort. And here's your pommel. I don't know, be interesting to find out where all these parts originate from and what they're used for. I'm fascinated by people that can make hardware store sabers. I've seen, I mean, this one's no exception, but I've seen some truly amazing pieces. The creativity of people in the saber community just astounds me. There's some true artistes out there. And Jesse's no exception. Now, he does have a couple more of these hilts available for sale. And I looked at some of his other hilts he's created, and he has done some Ram Koda work, among others. And I definitely would not mind having him making a Ram Koda for me. I don't know how many hilts he produces, but I purchased this one off of eBay. But he does have a Facebook page as well, and probably tomorrow I will put the links up to that. But not today. Tonight I'm just going to upload the video, and then I will update it tomorrow. So, as far as stunt sabers go, I give this 10 out of 10. And just to prove that you can do what you do with a stunt saber. You'll see the blade's plenty bright. Like I said, I just put in some freshies, so yeah. Quite fond of this hilt. Alright, so I don't feel like sitting back down again. So as I was saying, this is the DarkSteel Transition version 1.1, and this is made by Detroit Custom Sabers. So I definitely recommend going to eBay and seeing what he has available, and checking him out on Facebook, and drop Jesse a line if there's anything specific that you're looking for. I'm sure he'd be willing to make it for you. And there you go. So endeth the review. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you had a wonderful evening, and I hope the rest of your week is equally as enjoyable. And we'll talk to you soon. And y'all take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.